Black excellence is living in your purpose, operating in your purpose, um, being true to yourself so that you don't have any regrets in life.
Welcome to the Dripping in Black podcast, where we celebrate Black excellence throughout the Black diaspora. Here's your host, David V. Lewis.
What's up, good people all across the world? This is the Dripping in Black podcast. I am your host, David V. Lewis. And as usual, we have another fantastic guest who represents Black excellence in the Black diaspora. Today's guest is Reginald Olds. Broker Reg, say hello to the world.
Hello, world.
All right, so I gave a little clue there about why we have Reg on. He's the broker, but I think first and foremost, he's an educator. And so we'll talk a little bit about those things with Reginald. But first, we begin, as always, with a simple but loaded question of who is our guest. So who is Reginald Olds?
Well, I'm a lot of things. I'm a person who has been through some things in life, but has been determined to come out on the other side victorious.
Okay.
I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm an educator, and I'm a real estate broker. I like to call myself a change agent because I don't necessarily like to leave people the way that I found them.
Okay. All right. So we're going to dive into in the ways that you have been a change agent, right?
Sounds good.
Let's talk a little bit about your upcoming, your upbringing, right? Give us a little background on you.
So I'm from Detroit, born and raised on the east side, Detroit. Attended Detroit public schools. When I was in school, one of the things that I noticed was not a lot of educators took the time to connect with me. They pretty much just taught their subject and was gone. So when I was making mistakes, there was no one to pull me to the side and say, this is how you do it. So, that kind of came to me at an early age. So to graduating from high school, I went to college and, I went to Ferris State University and I thought I wanted to be an engineer. I was just like everybody else. Like when you ask them like what they want to be, they was like doctor, lawyer, engineer. Like they say all the generic, and so, but when I got in the program, I could not understand nothing they were talking about. Like I was I was reading the book and I'm like, what is this? Like I just remember being in CAD, computer aided design, and I could not understand what that they were talking about. But two things that always people always that was always in me was I could write really well, and I like to help people.
Okay.
So I put those two together, and I was like, I want to be a teacher. And when I changed my major, my life just kind of went up from there.
Okay.
Like it just soared. For
what
real.
what grade in college, what part of college were you in? Your sophomore, freshman year when you made that discovery?
It was my freshman year.
Okay,
It was my
that's
freshman
pretty
year.
good.
I had
Yeah.
spent a semester in mechanical engineering, and it was rough. For real, it was like, oh man. So
Mhm, mhm,
and I remember a person just came to me and said they got an English education major, and I went to the
mhm,
College of Education and looked at it, and I was like, it's me right here.
mhm.
And I changed my major, and I breezed through college once I changed
Yeah.
my major.
Wow. All right. So breeze through college, Ferris State University, and then off into the world of education.
Yep.
Take us through
So
that.
so um, I did my student teaching in Oak Park,
Mhm,
and they hired me. Like they hired me, and I spent like 19 years there. I taught at the high school level, middle
mhm,
school level.
mhm.
Um, Within that 19 years, I went back to school, got my master's in educational leadership.
Okay.
Um, the past 2 years, I thought I needed to move forward in my career.
Mhm,
So um, I started looking for, you know, positions in administration.
okay.
Um, and now I'm an assistant principal um, in Ypsilanti.
Mhm,
Now, prior to becoming assistant principal, again, it was some of them rough times. Remember, I talked about that. It was some of
mhm.
them rough times, and I thought about becoming a real estate agent.
Okay.
And so, I had again, I took the class, and let me kind of back up a little bit. My
Okay.
cousin, my cousin and I, we talked about it. Like him and I
Mhm,
talked about going into real estate,
mhm,
and we attended this conference that was at the end. They was trying to sell us something, but
mhm,
we thought they
mhm.
were going to teach us about real estate. So
Oh,
we had a
okay.
conversation, and we were talking about what we wanted to be and do in real estate.
Okay.
So he said he wanted to be an investor. I said I wanted to be an agent. And
Mhm,
I told him why. I said, I want people to need my services. I
mhm.
don't want to have to go looking for them. I want them to look for me,
Yeah.
So um, he was like, no, no. So we kind of went our separate ways. He is an
Okay.
investor,
Okay.
and I went and took the class and became an agent.
Mhm,
And so um, soon as I became an agent, it just seemed like, again, it just took off.
mhm.
Everybody that I knew, I mean, they knew me, they knew my character, they knew what I was about. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, they wanted to do business with me.
Yeah.
And so it just took off. And it was like one of the best decisions I ever made, kind of like when I changed my major.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so um, I worked, at Keller Williams. I worked for Keller Williams
Mhm,
for a couple of years. And I learned, I'm an educator, so I'm always reading and learning how to do things. Like
mhm.
I try to control my destiny as much as I can.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
try to, you know, edge my path in life. So I'm reading, and I'm like, I can become a broker.
Mhm.
A lot of people came up to me and wanted to talk to me about real estate.
Yeah.
And so it was like, um, I started getting these emails about getting a scholarship to become a broker. And I
Mhm.
filled it out, and they actually gave me a scholarship. Um,
Wow.
And so they paid for my class. I took the class, and I passed. I became a broker. I really initially became a broker for myself.
Uh-huh.
Again, I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to help people.
Mhm.
You know, I again, the same thought that I put into education, I put into real estate. I want to help
Yeah.
people who sometimes can't really help themselves
Yeah.
access home ownership.
Yeah.
And so I became a broker for myself, but for some reason, again, I guess I give it to God, because like people they wanted to become a realtor. They wanted to
Mhm.
work with me.
Mhm.
And so I was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
um, I was like, okay, well, let's do it. And it just kind of grew.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
here I am
Well, I'll
today,
jump in. I'll jump in because that's really how we linked up, right? So,
Yes.
I became a realtor earlier this year, and of course, once you become a realtor, you need a broker, and you came highly recommended by one Miss Patricia Hammond, and if she puts the gold star on you, then you good.
Yeah.
hmm And so she did that and kind of connected us, and we had a lot of conversation and some common ground, right? From education as well as
Yes.
kind of where I want to take my realtor stuff as well. So that's how we linked up, and now I'm a part of your organization. So tell
Yes,
us
sir.
again what your organization is, and give us the acronym, and then tell us what it means.
Okay. So um one day I was at work, and uh, it just, I don't know why it didn't come to me, but a person said to me, if you take the S off your last name and put it in the front, it will say sold.
Mm,
I was like, wow, okay. So
mm.
OES means O's equals sold. O's equals sold.
Mhm,
Some people are born, and some people are born to sell real estate.
mhm,
So, I think working with educators and working in and sharing my style of real estate,
mhm,
that's how I brand myself.
mhm,
Um, I think educators are the perfect fit to be realtors.
mhm,
We have everything that we need to kind of to go into that. Smart,
mhm, mhm.
educated, have a reputation of integrity,
Yeah,
um, know how, comprehending, know how to, connect with people.
yeah,
I just feel like, um, and then I think about our career, how it's always been neglected, like how they always say,
yeah,
we're not paid enough.
yeah,
I believe if you ever looking for a retirement plan, or you're looking for another career, real estate is that career. And you
yeah,
got the people, you got your clients work with you every single day.
yeah,
Teachers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I wanna take the audience a little bit on your journey, right? So
Hmm.
you are an educator. You mentioned some rough patches, and I surmise from that the rough patches led you to consider real estate. Did I get that right?
It did. It was so in education, like especially as a new teacher, the pay probably is not as high as it could be. There was a period of time where I kept getting laid off.
Okay.
And so like, I just take responsibility for everything that I do. I chose to be in education,
Right.
my son still need food and clothes.
Yes.
So, the
You ain't
bills.
taking no excuses.
Yeah, like I can't go to him and say I ain't got it today.
Hmm.
So I was like, and that conversation I had with my cousin, I was like, it just fits perfect with being an educator. Um, that's pretty much the rough time right there. I remember in Oak Park, like our pay was frozen for like 5 years,
Hmm.
like literally 5 years frozen.
Yep. Hmm.
And like bills are still there, they're getting higher and things, like
Getting
so.
higher.
Yeah.
They're not freezing that.
No, they're not freezing that. So I was, again, what can I do about this?
Mhm.
Real estate fits right into the schedule and life of an
Mhm.
educator.
Yeah. So you get off into real estate, you're new to it. Describe to me how that early stage of real estate went for you.
So the early stages was simply me letting everybody know that I was in real estate.
Hmm.
Um, and it just so happened, like, remember that cousin I was telling you about?
Yeah.
He needed my services, so I was working with him. Remember how I told you I told him that I
Yeah.
wanted them to need me? Well,
Yeah.
he needed me.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, and so him and I started working together. I started, showing houses to him and things like that.
Hmm.
And I just kept the word out there. Like I kept it
Hmm.
out there.
Hmm.
Um, I went to my family. Um, because one thing you got to know, everybody is going to need a place to live.
Yes.
So um, when they know that you're in it, they come to you.
Yeah.
Like they want to work with somebody they can trust
Yeah.
and that they
Absolutely.
know. Yeah. So
Hmm.
um, one just led to another. I worked with him. Like some of my earlier deals were not as big as all as they could, like smaller houses, that you fix up and flip and stuff like that.
Hmm.
um but From that it just kind of snowballed. Some of my teacher friends started approaching me like, hey, I'm looking for a house,
Hmm.
and again we have the same schedule, so we can we can
Yeah.
leave work and go.
Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of fit that way, and then from there, when they loved, the house that they bought, they went and told somebody.
Hmm.
And so now their family members and their cousins and their aunts and uncles,
Hmm.
whoever, any real estate situation they found themselves in, they brought it to me.
Hmm.
So it kind of became from word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like that's really how you can um, build your business.
Hmm.
Like initially it starts with you, but then it kind of goes from word of mouth. Like,
Yeah.
and from there it just continues to go. If you
Yeah.
if you satisfy them, they're going to
Yeah.
tell someone.
Yeah. Yeah. So now walk me through. You start off under Keller Williams. And is it Keller Williams? Keller Williams,
Keller Williams.
right? As an agent there. Something about that experience makes you say, let me start my own brokerage. Like you said earlier, for yourself initially. So give us a little bit about that and tap into your educator abilities. As if you're teaching an audience here, what's the distinction between a realtor and a broker?
Okay, so working with Keller Williams was it was a good experience. I cannot say it was a bad experience. I just noticed that I wasn't valued as a human being. I was valued as
That was a
a
good experience.
a person that, like, so, you know, they, it's a way. It's kind of like how McDonald's, you know, when they had a commercial and
Mhm,
they they had a hamburger and all that on the commercial. When you go to the
mhm,
actual restaurant to get it, it's not the same one.
mhm,
It don't even look
mhm,
any. It looked totally
mhm,
different.
mhm.
So, you know, um, it was that, like, it was just like I noticed that I was more so. It was about really about the money, and I was really about helping people.
Mhm. Okay.
You
Gotcha.
know, that was the, for me, the disconnect between me and Keller
Mhm,
Williams.
mhm. Okay.
Um, I feel like if you help people, you're gonna make your money.
Mhm.
Like I feel like that's gonna come.
Yeah.
So I don't I don't necessarily put profit before people,
Mm. Okay.
and that's probably one of the things that um, people that work with me, like Miss Hammond, you know, recognize.
Mhm.
Like, you know, I try to get, like, I try to, like, when I'm working with anybody, I try to give them everything that I know.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to know what I know.
Mhm.
It's not a game. It's not hide and go seek. You know, can you figure it out? I need you out here being successful.
Yeah.
So when you first become a realtor, you must work um, with a broker. The
Mhm.
broker is like, you know, your it's like your employer, but he's more like a manager. It kind of
Mhm.
reminds me of a teacher and a principal.
Okay.
So the realtor is the teacher
Mhm.
and the broker is the principal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're new in real estate, and you need someone to help guide you and supervise you. And
Yeah.
so they kind of have it set up that way where you work with a broker
Mhm.
until you have kind of proven yourself. And then if you yourself want to become a broker, you can.
Yeah.
Um, a broker is the owner of the company, um, and they're responsible for the actions and the productivity of their agents.
Yeah.
So I think just like teacher and principal,
Mhm.
broker and realtor are supposed to work together.
Yeah.
If this school slash company is planning to grow,
Yeah.
they work together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That
just like a
partnership is
school,
important.
yeah, just like a school,
Mhm.
whatever your vision is, you're going to send that down. You're going to give that down to your agents, just
Yeah.
like in a school. If whatever the principal's vision is, it's going to go down to the teachers. So, you
Mhm.
know, um, again, real estate is the perfect. To me, it's just they just line up
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah. 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 Yep, a lot of that stuff lines up.
Yes.
So, to become a realtor in Michigan, you have to do what things?
So you have to take a course, 40-hour course,
Yeah.
um, and you have to finish all 40 hours. And you have to you have to leave that course with a certificate.
Mhm.
If you miss a day, if you miss an hour, you have to make it up.
Yeah.
So from there, you have to take the state exam and
Mhm.
pass with a
Yes.
70%, I believe.
Yeah.
So once you pass, they put you like in a holding again, and then you pretty much can go to different companies to wherever you want to work, you know, and you
Yeah.
so you're in holding. You don't have a license until a broker picks you up.
Yeah.
So once you select that broker and that broker selects you, Then the broker goes into, where they're holding your license and pulls it
Mhm.
under him. Then they send that license to the broker.
Yeah.
So when they send your license to me, I give it to you, and now you're an official agent and you're out doing real estate. If you decide you don't want to work for that broker anymore, your license go back to that broker, and then he
Mhm.
sends it back to the state.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the process for becoming a realtor.
Yes.
Now you've been a realtor for a while and you want to become a broker. What's the next step for that?
So to become a broker, you have to have been in real estate for 3 years,
Mhm.
and you have to have sold 5 properties
Mhm.
in 3 consecutive years.
Okay.
So once those 3 consecutive years where you have sold 5 properties or more, then you are eligible to become a broker. So you take
Mhm.
the broker's class, which is 60 hours,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then you have to pass the state test.
Yeah.
And you send all that in. You send your certificate. They see that that you passed the test. You have to send them documented proof
Mhm.
of the 15 deals for 3 years,
Mhm.
and of course pay a fee. And you, they
Yeah.
say congratulations. They like
Mhm.
congratulations, and then from there you have to create a business name and create your LLC, and your tax ID with the federal government.
Mhm.
um, you get insurance to cover yourself, and you are an official broker. You get a location, um, and you can. I did, like, remember I said I wanted to be a broker for myself. You
Mhm.
can ideally just work for yourself as a broker.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to hire agents at all. You can just
Yeah.
have work for yourself, and again, you're supervising yourself. So now I'm not working under a broker. I am the broker.
Yeah. Yeah. And working under the broker, I don't think we mentioned this yet, also includes paying the broker, or really getting paid. The realtor is getting paid from the broker,
So, okay,
right?
so yeah, let's talk about that. So, um, when a realtor completes a closing, okay,
Mhm.
um, that they get a commission from the sale, and a portion of that commission is split with the broker.
Yeah.
So, my goal, again, I'm not necessarily trying to get rich off anyone.
Mhm.
I wanted to help people. So
Mhm.
I was like, I need to be able to, I want them to have that, because that was one of the issues I had with Keller Williams. I needed a little bit more money in my pocket. So I want all my agents to have more money in their pocket.
Mhm.
So what their commission was, I tried to beat their commission
Mhm.
split.
Yeah.
That was my goal.
Yeah.
Again, my goal is to help people, get them out there selling real estate and being successful.
Yeah.
And if I
Yeah.
build the business up, then I'll be successful too.
Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being it's everything that I wanted to be right now, and 1 being like this is a complete flop, where would you rate OES at this point?
I would rate it at a 10.
Okay. Tell
You
us
know
why.
what? Let me say that. Let me say a 9, because I still want us to grow. There's room for growth and improvement,
Mhm.
but it is doing what I want it to do.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I want to work with educators.
Mhm.
I want them to actually tap into this, and that's what I do.
Mhm.
Um, I wanted, my goal. I was like, I had set a number. I was like, if I can get 10 agents,
Mhm.
that would, I think the company was successful. And
Mhm.
right now we're at 5.
Yeah.
So,
Halfway there.
I feel like it's moving in that direction.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like the people that work with me. I really do. Like, none, I I can say we're more like a family.
Yeah. Yeah. So an agent that's, let's say somebody just got their realtor's license and they're considering those major ones like Keller Williams and 21st Century, um, you know, make a pitch to them. What does OES offer um, as an advantage for them that maybe they don't get at those bigger
So
places?
number one is more money in your pocket. I can almost guarantee that. Guarantee
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Because what I noticed when I worked at Keller Williams, that Keller Williams did not give me not one deal that I ever had came from being an agent at Keller Williams. It was all through me.
Hmm.
And so nobody ever said, since you work at Keller Williams, I want to work with you. No one ever said that.
Hmm.
It was me, my
Got you.
personality, my
Hmm. Hmm.
work ethic. So that's the thing that I try to explain to agents. Like, you are going to be the one.
Hmm.
Like, they're not going to ever care.
Hmm.
It's going to be you, and they
Hmm.
want to work with David.
Hmm.
So number one, more money in your pocket, and number two, a broker that is going to help you and educate you, and show you how to do this every step of the way, that you have access to, that's going
Yeah.
to give you the game as he know it, as I know it,
Yeah.
so that you can hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Like, I I hope that your experience is half of my half of my experience. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
your that's my goal for every agent, for them to be able to jump straight in there and know exactly the mistakes that I made and
Hmm.
not make them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, man. So OES, O's equals sold.
Yeah. So
Really,
I
and then
chose the initials because I was thinking, like, I want the, just how Keller Williams got that KW. I wanted the
mhm,
initials to stand out. I just want people to see OES,
mhm,
so that was my goal.
mhm. Yeah. So is the business is pretty vibrant now?
Um Business is I can say this, it has not stopped. Since
Mhm,
I've gotten in real estate
mhm,
and I closed on my first deal, it has
mhm,
not stopped.
mhm. Yeah.
And with being an educator, that's the way I need it to be.
Mhm.
Because I do love being an educator too.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we forecast it, so you're an AP now, and you've been an AP, this is your second year.
It's my second year.
Yeah. You see yourself advancing even further in administration as well.
I do. If it got to be the right fit,
Mhm.
the right opportunity, but I do see myself advancing in education. But um if not, I'm okay with that too.
Mhm. Okay.
Um,
What do you, how much longer do you see yourself in education? And then the second part to that, where I'm kind of going with this is the realtor business, I would assume doesn't ever end, right? So maybe
Correct.
there's an end date for your role in
Absolutely.
education that you have
See,
in
you see,
mind.
see how I fit again? See how that fit again? Like, you don't ever have to retire. You don't ever, I don't ever think about retiring from real estate.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because, it's determined by my pace, my efforts.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's, in education, I can see myself retiring in the next, I would say, 4 years,
Hmm.
maybe 5.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I can see from that point, I can see me dedicating more time
Mhm.
to building up OES.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting thing. I know we talked a little bit about, um, like you've been making a point about the linkage between educators and real estate, but you have something specific in mind down the line. I think it's already in the works, right? With regards to
Right. So,
what you want to do with
um,
educators.
yes. So
Yeah.
I plan to go full-fledged in recruiting and um um what's the word I'm looking for? Marketing, helping educators. I call
Hmm.
it teachers to realtors.
Hmm.
Like I feel like this is the perfect, like I said before, this is a perfect opportunity. Like we fit in it like a glove.
Yeah.
And I want to show them that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the retirement plan that you wish you had in education, you
Hmm.
can get it and have it in real estate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the goal. That's the future of OES.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna give you a moment to, like, if someone is a realtor and they're thinking about um a broker, how do they reach you?
So you can reach me. My email address is info@oesrealtors.com. We do have a website, www.oesrealtors.com,
Hmm.
or you can call me directly. My cell is 313-744-0330. And if I don't answer, just leave a voicemail.
Hmm. Yeah. Is there any social media for OES as well?
Also, I'm glad you brought that up. So we do have a Facebook page, OES Realtors. You can find me on Instagram is OES_broker.
Mhm.
Um, yes, those two social media formats.
Okay. All right. So we've kind of given you all the little softball questions, and you kind of taken care of them, knocked them out the park as you were supposed to. Now it's time to get down to the tough question that we like to close out our episode with. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Have you ever been on the cover of a magazine?
No, I haven't been on the cover of a magazine.
Mm. Uh, has that ever entered your mind, you're thinking?
So it has entered my mind.
Hmm.
um, in real estate, a lot of I get a lot of emails saying that that I have like I'm a top earner in real estate.
Hmm.
That my company is moving up the ranks in real estate,
Hmm.
and they they feel like nominate me,
Hmm.
and they want to recognize me and things like that. So I've seen those opportunities, and if that
Hmm.
ever comes about, I don't mind being on the cover of a magazine.
Hmm. I thought you was going with I thought you was thinking about GQ and Forbes and Ebony or something.
uh you know see, that's the thing, like um I no, I if that ever happens, I'm good with it. Let me put that like that. If that ever, I'm good with it. But I
Mhm.
just my the way I am, like I really default towards people.
Okay.
Like I just that's just how I'm set up. So I'm not necessarily planning to be on the cover of Forbes, but if that happened, it happened. I'm definitely I'm not going to turn down the opportunity, and I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to continue to work toward that goal.
Yeah. Well, what the work you've done thus far has led you to a magazine cover that represents Black excellence. So for each and every guest, we placed them on the Dripping in Black magazine cover.
Okay.
So
All
my executive producer is going to pull up your magazine cover.
right. All right. Okay, I see.
Yeah. So that is a parting gift as well as a thank you for spending some time with us, sharing your story with us. And we will get that printed out, laminated, and sent off to you at a later date as a big thank you.
I want to say thank you for having me. Like, to be a guest on your show was, to me, is like is an honor because not a lot of people recognize, what I'm saying, or celebrate, excellence. They look, for the next, social media phase, and what I'm saying. And so, like, I think it's excellent what you're doing here, and I wish your show a lot of success. You know what I'm saying? And and it kind of fits with how I conduct myself. So I was like, it's in line. I'm happy to be here for sure.
Yeah, and we so we want to thank you again for coming out. We really appreciate you. The pleasure is all ours, and this is the work that Sean Smith and I at Square just enjoy doing. And of course, we would like for more and more people to come in and share their stories, and more people to tune in to hear the stories as we go, because that's what it's all about. But we thank and appreciate you for that. We want to remind our audience that the DIBK Drip Shop is open. Go to dibkdripshop.com to get your latest Dripping in Black merch. As always, a huge thanks to all of our listeners, viewers, supporters, and subscribers. And until next time, be kind, be loving, and be excellent on purpose. It is.
But before we go, I don't mean to cut you. Before we go though, Sean did say I could ask some questions too.
Oh, okay.
So something you just said.
I wish you would have did that before I got into my little segue out.
Waiting. But something you just
now I gotta say that all over again.
No. Something you just said at the end. So like you were talking about George Floyd and Taylor. So they were like your motivation for the podcast.
Yeah. So it's a few factors that motivated us. The name itself is motivated by something, and we have that chronicled in our first season, but really the name was a brainchild of Sean Smith and some experiences he was having in his workplace, and a desire just to be surrounded with Black excellence. He wanted to be dripping in Black.
Right.
And then during 2020, yeah, it's one of the things that it's a God-given thing, right? Yeah. It's God-given. It's some divinity in it. And, once you hear it, it's like, okay, yeah, that's good. And Sean and I would hang out all the time at coffee shops and just kicking it, our friends do. And during the 2020 shutdown, I was trying to find things that I really wanted to do to be productive. Mm-hmm. And so I started reading up about podcasting, and I started saying, I can see myself doing that. And I just didn't have a name. I kind of knew what I wanted to do is really what we're doing, but I didn't have a name for it. So really, the short story long, as me and Sean were sitting there, he told me the story about the Dripping in Black, and I'm like, that's the name of the podcast. Yeah. And we had to sit on it for a minute, but then once we got that name and got the idea, we just continued to build from there. And it's really been a labor of love, man, since the day we started. And just to see the growth of it, if you look at our very first episode to where we are now, you can see our growth as well. So we just love doing it, man. Any other questions?
No, I just know that during that time it was like a rough time for a lot of people, and like we were Black people. We were in the media for,
Mhm.
for a lot of times we can be in the media for wrong things.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
just wanted, like I appreciate the fact that Black excellence is being, displayed, you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
showcased and talked about. So, that just it kind of popped in my head when you said that, like, because I think that was the moment where we needed it the most too.
Yeah. Yep. Everything my mentor would say the universe unfolds as it should. I would quarrel with him and say the universe unfolds as it's supposed to. But I think we all get into the same place with that. And so yeah, one thing begets the next thing, begets the next thing, and such is life. But yeah, it's really a labor of love, and we appreciate it. And we appreciate you for coming out.
Absolutely.
On the next Dripping in Black podcast, we have the vibe creator and personal chef, Nakia Bonds.
Because my vibe is personal to the point where I want to make sure whatever it is that you want the feel for your event, whether it be the menu, the setup, all of that, is going to be very unique to you. But it's all, you're going to know Kia did that. People, when they see pictures, they're like, yeah, Kia did that one.
You have just experienced a Dripping in Black production.